Okay, cool. With my super hoarse ass voice. Okay. Okay, cool. So, the way that we're gonna go over this stuff, let's start at the top here. I think with the palpations, we'll just talk about this stuff as we go from a muscle standpoint. Yeah, I think that's the move here. So we'll just start at let's start with something simple. Where's the rec fem? Let's go up here. Actually, you know what we'll do? This is what we'll do. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll start with the muscles that do flexion of the body.
Okay.
So the psoas major is is a massive hip flexor in the body.
Okay.
The psoas major, excuse me. I'm like not sick, but I'm coming off some shit here.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So the psoas major is a muscle that runs from the lumbar spine here
Okay.
through the pelvis and into the lesser trochanter. So these are all, you can see this lingo, right, is like understanding where bones are, where muscles are. It attaches into the spinal vertebrae.
Right.
And then runs through. So, let's pull back through here. So this is your psoas major right
Okay.
there. Excuse me, let me get some water. So what it does,
And how many does it connect to? Because they see it has little ones
I believe
that connect to each
it's
little
5.
vertebrae. I see 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
Okay.
So the top, the top 4 lumbar vertebrae. So this is the cool way that we can learn functional anatomy, or like how the muscles are moving the bones. So when we get this muscle, we attach it to its origin.
What would the origin be? That?
Yep, it would
Okay.
be these bones right here.
Okay, that's the origin.
And then the insertion would be,
Where it ends?
you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
And then what we do, let me find a smaller cord here. Let me grab one out there.
Okay.
Grab a cough lozenge too. Oh man. There we go. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
Gosh.
You don't have to apologize so much with me. I'm not
I don't even know
concerned.
do I apologize?
You apologize a
I'm
lot.
apologizing.
You're
Thoughtful.
thoughtful.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep. Okay, so this runs from here,
Mm-hmm.
attaches into here.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're looking for is when this cord shortens.
Okay.
So if we go out this way,
that would
if we go out this way, does it shorten?
No.
No. So this is not a what? Uh-huh.
I don't know, yeah.
This is the game, right?
Okay.
So
It's
now
not a-
now you're gonna get to figure out what motions are what planes are what,
Okay.
what muscles do what in those planes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so what plane is this?
Frontal.
Yep, and what motion is this?
Oh, external.
Mm.
Abduction.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
No.
I almost said that first.
Yep. No, that's it. That's perfect.
Okay.
Right? So you can see how it's like kind of quizzing and also
Yeah.
going, okay, what is this? So,
Right.
okay, so it's not, the psoas major is not a abductor, and it doesn't move this leg in the frontal plane.
Right. So if it moves it, that means it shortens it.
Mm-hmm. So check this out.
Okay. Yeah, that
Oh
shortens
boy.
it.
Okay. So what does that psoas do? What are all these muscles here? What do they do?
It's
People are like, I got a tight
Yeah.
Hip.
Yeah, that's me.
Hip. People always saying this. Hip flexor.
Flexor. Oh, so.
Right. So it's a hip flexor.
Okay.
Because here's the hip.
Yeah.
And it's flexing that hip.
Right.
Right. And so this would be extension going the other direction.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, right. Like a hip flexion.
Flexor.
Yeah.
Right.
Flexion.
People always like, yeah, just tight and flexion.
Yeah.
Rolling
Yeah.
them out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So it definitely does hip flexion.
Yeah.
And then that looks so when we do that, it doesn't do much there.
No.
That shortens it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it might be a little bit of an internal rotator
Right.
on some in some cases.
Right.
But the main motion is
yeah.
hip flexion, right?
Yeah.
So psoas is a what? What motion does it do?
Flex.
What? I'm just repeating, reinforcing here, right?
Oh, the hip flexor?
Yes, it's a hip
Okay.
flexor. So
Okay.
that's the way, I'm just going through this. We'll do this.
So
I'm a repetition kind of guy.
yeah, no, and that's
Cool.
that's totally fine with me. So the psoas major is meant to do hip flexion,
Basically.
is what we're getting
Yep.
at. Okay.
And you want to play with that just to get that feel?
Sure. Is
So
it the same on both sides?
Yep. Oh yeah.
No, they're different.
Yeah,
Huh? This guy's got
let's
some
hope
big
they're the
issues.
same.
Where
Yeah.
do you put it down
Yep,
here?
that's fine. Yep. And then right there. Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
And then when it goes back down,
It tightens.
things tight. So we know that the psoas does what to the hip,
It flexes it.
and what plane is that in?
Sagittal?
Boom.
Okay. All
There
right.
it is, man.
I got it.
One down.
Cool.
Right?
One down, a million to go.
Pretty much. But like you can see how much
Yeah.
easier this is than like doing something like
Yeah.
going, this is a muscle. This is where the muscle attaches.
Well,
Cool.
and even as simple as you're like, this is origin, this is insertion,
Exactly.
made a lot more sense than when I had read it. I
Exactly.
was like, what is it?
And typically these things can be interchangeable, the origin and insertion side.
Right, depending on where you're going, I'm assuming.
Exactly. So like in a situation where, so here's the other thing with this psoas muscle.
Okay.
What if we were to do?
Bring them up.
Yeah, right. So I mean, this you get the idea. That
Would loosen it.
right. So it's not just a hip flexor. It's a flexor.
Flexor?
Yeah, totally spot on.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
so-
well, and I mean, this kind of, I think a way that I can visualize it, which I may be shooting the shot a little bit,
Yeah.
but when, we work on tightening, like we're shortening our core versus expanding it. So when he's coming up, everything's getting...
short.
Well, I guess that's a little different in the sense that it's getting shortened, but like our string's not getting shortened. Our string's getting longer, but we're in a shortened position instead of stretched out, flexed out.
Are you talking about the psoas specifically?
No, I'm talking about your cord.
This cord.
That cord.
I gotcha. Yeah. So when we're in this position, you're saying
Yeah.
that's shortened
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then when we're lengthened here,
Yeah.
it's lengthened.
Lengthened is like tight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when we go
And
here
shortened
again,
is
they're
loose.
shortened again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And this goes to that actin myosin cross bridging.
You gave me the cost.
I'm sorry, man. Shit. So there I said sorry again. Sorry. No, I should be I'm joking. That time I'm joking. The actin myosin cross bridging is the cable network
Right.
that is our muscular system.
Right.
So
right.
it's ratcheting,
Yeah.
lengthening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
I learned that with like your biceps, this whole kind of intertwined.
The cross bridging.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of step one hip flexor.
Okay.
iliacus. So the iliacus runs in the medial aspect of the iliac crest here.
Okay.
So this is the iliacus.
Okay.
So it's right here. And what that does is it actually attaches into this same greater trochanter. Excuse me, lesser trochanter. And then what it does is, what do you know?
Yeah. Same
Flexes
thing.
the hip, right?
Okay.
And then does it abduct? Let's find out.
That makes it tighter and looser. A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
So maybe a little bit of adduction.
Uh-huh.
Maybe not
Uh-huh.
great, but it
Right.
could do a little bit. Does it adduct? No.
No.
So maybe a teeny bit there.
Right.
Not great mechanical advantage.
No.
Definitely a hip flexor.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright.
So runs here, runs here. So if somebody, and the whole point of this is, if somebody goes, yeah, I've had a severed hip flexor, you're gonna go, okay, this hip flexor definitely affects this thing, the hip, but that also is gonna greatly affect the anchoring of
Yeah.
the lumbar spine
Right.
and the anchoring of the pelvis. And that's more importantly why we need to know what muscles move what. Not because the brain is going to differentiate iliacus from a psoas necessarily. It's a bunch of meat that moves a bone, and your
Right.
brain is like meat move bone.
Right.
But what we need to know is what structures are going to be impacted by injury, and that's the most important part of this whole deal.
Right.
here.
Right.
Right. So there you go.
Okay.
Just kind of just stand here. Yep. Yep. Boom.
Loose. Tight. Little loose.
A little loose. Yeah. Cool. Is this all helping, making sense
Oh,
here?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
have you looked at muscles like this before?
I mean, that's where I'm saying I think my only like muscle kind of talk has just been a little bit with the PT of like understanding the flexion and extension
Got you.
and
Okay.
the kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, it's like making sense in
Yeah.
in a little bit of a
Nice.
different way.
Okay.
At least I have that back there because
Yeah.
then it just kind of light bulbs.
Nice. That's perfect. Yeah. And then another thing to think about, these guys have pretty short levers.
Okay.
Right. So this doesn't have a lot of distance that it needs to pull something. Right.
Right. Right.
Whereas something, and we're about to look at this right now, is tensor fascia latte.
Okay.
Almost sounds like a coffee.
Yeah. I was gonna make a joke.
Right. Oh yeah,
and-
it's that's one of my favorite muscles there. Tensor fascia latte. So it's
Alright.
this guy right here, and it runs laterally.
This on top.
Yeah, right here on the
Okay.
side.
Oh, on the side, like the outside.
Yep.
Okay.
People typically are like, I'm rolling out my IT band, and this is like a big dog that attaches into this IT band. And so once again, this guy flexes big time.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It. Oops. Okay. Doesn't look like it does a ton of internal rotation. So not a lot of internal or external, maybe a teeny tiny bit, but massively a hip flexor
Right.
and definitely an abductor.
Ah. Okay.
Right.
Right. Right.
So this runs into the lateral aspect of the iliacus, or the ilium, excuse me. So it's this area right here,
Okay.
and then it runs into the
Not up here. Out here.
yep, it's on the outside,
Outside. Okay.
and then runs into that IT band,
Right.
which then runs into the lateral aspect of the femoral condyle.
Okay.
This is a condyle here. Yeah. I believe it's not an epicondyle. I think an epicondyle is. Condyle. Epicondyle. epicondyle. It is an epicondyle. Lateral epicondyle. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
See, this has been a long time for me too. So that's good to know, right? The condyle is this shearing or this gliding surface,
Okay.
whereas an epicondyle is not
right
so
there.
much a bone-on-bone structure, but more of a bone-on-muscle structure.
Right, because it's going to be on the outsides touching the muscles.
Yep. Epicondyle, condyle. Perfect. Nice. So yeah, so this muscle runs from the, there it is right here.
Okay, and that was what, this one?
Yep, tensor fascia latae right here.
That one then.
Yep.
I was looking at that one. That one. That's the outside then. This
Yep.
comes in, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
Cool. So you want to try that one?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So this one's from kind of the outside. And it comes to this, whatever we just called it, the lateral.
It's the lateral epicondyle, and then kind of runs
Epicondyle.
also into this,
Oh, okay.
this area here too. It's just it's a massive.
His feet. And then loose. Not super loose. And then tight. Still tight.
Cool. Very nice. Okay, sartorius. So this guy runs, and this is what I'm realizing is probably it would be more beneficial for you to get all the bony landmarks and then us do this,
That's
right?
okay.
So we should figure out logistically how to
Okay.
line this up. Like maybe what we'll do. I mean, we're not in a huge hurry.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a hurry, but
Yeah.
not in a huge hurry. So maybe what we do is you go over this and we review this same stuff.
I know, I'm
again.
trying to figure out, I think actually, it was one of the questions I forgot to ask, but
Yeah.
I was like, what is like your technique or a way for me to like memorize all these things, because there's kind of a lot.
Morning. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So what I would do, and I was actually thinking about this as we were talking, you can get a small skeleton
Okay.
and then a little cord.
Okay.
Right, because I mean, this is like $900. There's no point in buying one of these big
Uh-huh.
dogs here. But let me pause this for a second.